Hello and welcome to Paul Ames, visual journalist, and this is part 4 in the Birds on a Budget series that have started, and today's instalment is about the Mighty Four Thirds system. Now, for wildlife photographers in general, but especially on those on a budget, I happen to believe that the Micro Four Thirds system has a lot to offer and represents incredible value for money. The micro in Micro Four Thirds is a reference to the size and weight savings that the system brings, but it has no impact upon the powerful features that these cameras can offer. The system is now, at the time of filming this video, some 15 years old, and it is therefore fully fleshed out. This means that there is plenty available on the second-hand market. But before we consider camera bodies, let's look at lenses first. Both Olympus, which is now OM Systems, and Panasonic provide a range of long lenses suitable for photographing wildlife. Now, at the budget end, there's the Olympus 75-300 and the Panasonic 100-300, both of which represent excellent value. Now remember, these lenses are giving you a reach out to the equivalent of 600 millimeters on a full frame camera at a fraction of the weight and cost. The Olympus 75-300 can be found for around 500 Australian dollars second hand or around 600 new. The Panasonic 100 costs a little bit more, going for about $550 second hand and $1,000 new. This means it is very feasible to put together a good kit for under 1,000 Australian dollars, which is at the time of recording about 650 US dollars. In the mid-range category, both companies offer 100 to 400 millimeter zooms. The Olympus version sells for about $1,500 second hand or $2,200 new, and the Panasonic version goes for I'd say $1,200. I've seen them sell second hand in Australian dealers, or $2,200 new. Now again, both of these two lenses at the long end will give an angle of view equal to that of an 800mm lens on a 35mm sensor, and they do it in a very compact and lightweight package. At the top end of town, there are two lenses. The Olympus 300mm f4, which apparently is a gem of a lens, although I've not used it, and can be had for approximately 2,800 on the used market, or 4,000 new. Remember, these are Australian prices. Then we reach the stratosphere with the Olympus 150-400 f4.5 Pro, which retails for an eye-watering price of 11,500 new, if you can find a dealer that has one in stock, as they're in short supply in Australia. I have seen a used one on a Japanese dealer's website going for 7,500 Australian, and it was gone within a day. So if you're looking for a second-hand one, you're going to have to really move fast to get one. So out of all these lenses, I've used and owned both the Olympus 75-300 and the Panasonic 100-400. And both of them have been very good. With the Olympus 75-300, it's not weather sealed and there's no lens-based stabilisation built in. The major criticism, however, is that people have regarded that it's soft at the long end. Well, first of all, I'd like to say, get real, people. This is a budget lens. But seriously, this is a complaint that you can levy at most zoom lenses on the market. In my opinion, and based upon the example that I own, it's not as bad as people make out wide open. And it improves if you stop it down a bit Even just sort of by a third or two-thirds of a stop, that really does sharpen the image up. The pluses are that it's amazingly small and light and cheap. Now, it was the first long telephoto zoom I bought for the Micro Four Thirds system, and I did intend to sell it when I got the Panasonic 100 to 400, but I kept it for those times when I don't want to carry the larger lens, like when I'm walking the dog along the river and I just want to take a camera along in case I see an interesting looking bird. Now, the Panasonic 100 to 400 is an amazing lens, and I've really enjoyed using it. It is weather sealed and it does have image stabilization built in. When it was first introduced, there were complaints about it all over the blogosphere and on the camera forums about it having an overly stiff zoom ring and that it couldn't be repaired. All I can say is my example, my own lens, hasn't had any problems with the zoom ring. It works really well. And here in Australia, the state of play on the repairs is that now, at the time of recording this, Panasonic Australia have appointed a repair agent who can make repairs on the lens in Australia. So it's not really a problem. Now, if you're in a different market, that may be different. I can't answer that. All I know is what's happening at the time in Australia. My only criticism of the 100 to 400 is that the lens-based image stabilization isn't compatible with that of my Olympus camera's IBIS. But we'll put that into context by saying the Olympus 100 to 400's image stabilization also isn't compatible with the Olympus IBIS. If you want that Sync IS, you are going to have to spring for the two more expensive lenses. The Olympus EM1 Mark 1 goes for approximately 400 Australian dollars. The Mark II goes for about 800, and the Panasonic G85, which sits between them, at about the 600 mark. I've owned all three, and I think they all offer tremendous value for the wildlife photographer on a restricted budget. When it comes to using the cameras, all three cameras feel really good in the hand, or that's my experience of them. The G85 has the easiest to navigate menu system. Now, Olympus have this reputation for labyrinthine menus, but I must say in their defense that they do allow a phenomenal amount of customization of your camera. And once you've set your camera up properly to your tastes and assigned a few custom modes, all you have to do then really is to use the super control panel most of the time to control the camera. It's very rare that you have to dive into the menu system. Which one should you get? Well, that really does depend upon your budget and what you intend to do with the camera. If you're cash strapped and you're only really going to be concentrating on stills, then I would say that the EM1 and the 75 to 300 is the pairing to go for. The camera is beautifully built. It is like a little jewel, but it's also really tough. The weather sealing is great. I mean, I've used mine in all sorts of conditions, rain, dust. I even fell into a stream. It got completely submerged, and it's still going strong. The only place it's really lacking is video, which is HD only, and and it's got one card slot. It's a 16 megapixel camera, but to be perfectly honest, if all you're going to do is be posting to social media or printing out the occasional print to about A3 size, 16 megapixels is more than enough. The G85 is also an incredibly capable little camera, especially with video. It too has a fair degree of weather sealing. Again, it's only 16 megapixels, and it only has one card slot. Most people don't think of the Panasonic cameras for wildlife photography because at that stage, Panasonic used their DFD contrast-based technology, which wasn't as good for action as phase detection autofocus. Having said that, I've used the camera to shoot wildlife, video and stills. The thing with it is that you've just got to be patient and pick situations that the camera can cope with, and to take a lot of footage or a lot of stills. Keep trying over and over again, and you do get good results. In my opinion, the G85 has the best phone app and wireless capability of any camera on the market at the moment. It's great. And it's really useful because you can remote control your camera to shoot wildlife using it. If you are going to go the Panasonic route, I would really suggest that you team the camera with a Panasonic lens to get the best out of the autofocus system. That's not to say it won't autofocus with Olympus lenses, it will, but the best results are got with the Panasonic ones. If you've got the budget, the EM1 Mark II is obviously the one to get. It's a 20 megapixel camera, twin card slots, well weather sealed, amazingly spec'd with all these computational features such as high-res mode. It can do perspective correction for architectural shots. I mean, there's all these incredible features. I haven't even scratched the surface with mine. It has a very well-spec'd flash system, if that's important to you. The video in 4K is good, but it's only a maximum of 30p. The autofocus system works well for video and stills. If you're looking for things like subject recognition AF, then you're going to have to spend a lot more money to get better performance. The EM1 III second-hand goes for about $1,400, as does the EM1X, and the OM1 I've seen for about 2,500 Australian dollars. So as you can see, it starts to mount up once you start looking at the body and the lens combination. But overall, I've been really happy with my EM1 using the Panasonic 100-400. Great combination. I've got some excellent results with it. You know, I couldn't ask for more. And I see no reason to update at the moment either. So thank you very much for watching me on this fly-ridden day. I hope you enjoyed the video, found it useful. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Goodbye.